All right, welcome back to Project Seawolf. So last time we tabbed in the floor of the anchor locker, and today we're gonna continue that project and lay down the new fiberglass down there. Other projects that are ongoing is laminating the bowsprit together with flexible marine epoxy and fixing the rudder shaft. But those are gonna require some more materials that are still on their way. So in the meantime, we're just gonna continue doing some epoxy work. It's been pretty rainy and there's more rain expected for the next week. So we're gonna have to keep it to indoor projects, but that's okay because one of the big goals that I want to have done by the time I'm going back and forth from California to here is have it relatively livable inside, and that's gonna require doing all the fiberglass grinding that I can, so that I don't have to worry about fiberglass dust inside anymore. All right, taking a look at the new floor, you can see, especially when I put the light down here, that there is some gap between parts of the new floor and the hull. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come from behind and put some thickened epoxy in there. Same on this side, especially on this side actually. There's some much larger gaps between the floor and the hull that I want to fill with thickened epoxy. I'm also going to grind down this bit and make sure there's enough space for the biaxial roving to adhere to the hull over here on the front end. Even if it creates a little dip back there, I'm not too worried about that. Even if it collects a little bit of water. Not too worried about it. I just I want it to adhere well to this very forward end as well. When I got the boat, the anchor locker floor was broken back here in the corners behind. So I made sure that these were much more adhered with this pass of the fiberglass. So while I have the thickened epoxy mixed up, I'm thinking about another project. In the head here, the biggest gap and the most annoying thing to me when I go to bed at night right now is this gap right here. And I'm thinking of using some thickened epoxy to fill this up and some scrap fiberglass stuffed in here, because it's blocked right here. So it's watertight, but I just need to fill in this gap and make it smooth to the hull, and that will complete the floor in here. In the near future, if not today, I'd like to install this bulkhead down behind the anchor locker floor to create a waterproof barrier and have a hatch to work on the tubes. But I think I'll do the tubes first before I install that, because I imagine that's going to be really annoying working down in there underneath on the tubes. So maybe I'll wait on that, but that's in the near future for sure. And so is this bulkhead that will create a waterproof hatch there, because beforehand is just this loosely clipped piece of wood that allowed all the smells to waft in from the muddy chain. That will definitely be an improvement. But I have my work cut out for me. It looks like it's going to be a very heavy epoxy day. All right, I mean, maybe you wouldn't do this to your boat, but I'm kind of okay with it because I have so much fiberglass scrap from all the jobs. I'm just going to use it as filler, and I'm going to pour some thickened epoxy over this and make it thick enough so that the epoxy just kind of goes in a little bit but not flows into the bilge at all. Then that'll create a nice surface for me to be able to work with and put some tabbing over and make it flat to the hull. Because I'd like to have a floor again in here. But that'll be a good first step, just filling that gap. Sweet. Just a nice cake batter. Pour over this stuff. This is only 1 cup of epoxy that made all this thickened epoxy, which is like 2 cups of thickened epoxy. So really it doubled, or tripled even, because I just poured out, this looks like about a cup, so that's a lot of thickened epoxy for every cup of epoxy. Okay, so the filler is in there and it's going to be ready to be tabbed in with the fiberglass once it's dry. I'm just going to run over it with the sander, and then I'll put fiberglass on, maybe a little bit of filler until it's flat again against there. And then everything's going to be ready to be kind of filled in a little bit there. And behind this square in the grooves, I also smeared some thickened epoxy in there. Alright, next on the agenda, let's get this front bit ground down. Alright, that gives me about 1 inch to attach the biaxial roving now to the end, and I'm really just going to butt it up against the backing plate. Where the fiberglass starts. Alright, dry fit of the biaxial roving looks good. Yep, and it's ground. The surfaces are already prepped where I'm going to need them to be prepped, so that's good. And again, to really solidify this this design, I'll need to come in from the other side and put some thickened epoxy in the corners and some tabbing underneath. But this will provide a lot of strength right here, and I think it'll probably be good once I add some layers to the other side as well. Alright, sorry I had to move you, but I filled in that front bit a little bit with some chopped strand, which turned to liquid pretty much, and really filled it in nice. And then I rolled out everything so there's no bubbles. It's pretty solid, pretty tapped down now. So if I can reach it, I'd like to go in and do the thickened epoxy from the other side. Alright, I used a mirror to see what I was doing in here, and you guys are going to have a much better view of what it looks like in there than I do. There are definitely some areas with some gaps that I would like to come back and fill with fiberglass, mainly along this aft edge here. There's also, I cleaned up the through holes, so they'll be ready to accept the hoses when I drill those holes for the drains. But I think that is all I will do on board the boat today. We're gonna go back to the homestead and prep the rudder shaft for the welding that's gonna happen imminently. But yeah, I would like to learn how to use the welder before I get the 3/16 stainless rods, fill rods. And I'd like to have the crevice corrosion all ground down by the time I'm ready to work on it, so that there's nothing else in the way for me to do. Uh-oh. Oh, that's not good. Here at the bottom, you can see there's a very deep fission in there. But I'm gonna have to dig that out. I've touched up the end a little bit, but it's very cratered back here. I'm not sure if it's even worth grinding all that out. I probably should, and then just kind of build up swirls of weld up in there to build the material back up. But I was able to get out that big crack here all the way down. It's back to clean metal, and just a little bit more grinding. I used up like all my Ryobi batteries, and this is my last battery, and the wheel of the grinder. Definitely need a new one after this, but it's coming along. We'll see if I can even get through all these craters back here. I had to hit pause here with all the batteries being used, but I think the main concern on the bottom part of the rudder post was there was a line of crevice corrosion here, and I dug those out and there's no signs of a crack in there. But of course, on the hard working end of the rudder post, which directly rotates in the cup and all the weight of the rudder is on it all the time underwater, not surprised there's a ton of crevice corrosion that's pretty deep in here. I'm gonna have to build this back up to its original length and with the welder, and then grind it smooth so that it rotates in the cup well. I hope that filler metal metal is gonna do okay in there. I don't want that to crack off at the weld, so I'll see if there's anything I can do to maximize the strength of the weld. All right, as I continue to grind, so the length of the post is just, you know, a little bit farther than this high point, this like tooth here. As I keep going, I'm noticing, there's some pockets of corrosion here, and down here, especially down here. There's some big ones, so I have quite a bit more grinding to do. So I'm just going to continue to grind that out, and in the next episode, hopefully, we'll be building those welds back up. I've got everything that I need to start doing the welding, except for the 3/16 stainless welding rods. So I'm going to wait for those to get here. But in the meantime, thank you for watching. Thank you to my patrons for supporting the channel and keeping this channel going. It helps out a ton, and it keeps me on a schedule and accountable for getting work done. So thank you so much. And if you'd like to see some future episodes in advance, like especially over the summer here, I'm posting a lot on the Patreon in advance as soon as they're edited, and then they come up on YouTube bi-weekly. So if you're interested in keeping up to date, or maybe getting stuff from me, because I do a lot of giveaways on the Patreon, and go ahead and check it out in the description. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty good with all the progress being made, and I feel like we can still keep on track with the launch date. All right, I'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.